Hi, my name is Don Bernardini, and I'm an adjunct professor here at the University of Toledo. And we're going to have a little lesson today, Lyndsay and I, specifically because your major is
Theater,
and we wanted to give an example of belting voice, for example, and how we approach it. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do before she even sings, I just want to address that a little bit. What exactly do we do for belting, for example? Well, we actually teach the same way we teach as if we're teaching someone how to sing classically, so that we get the right breath, so that we have the larynx in a low position, so we have some space in the mouth, okay, and all of those things that we talk about when we talk about being a classically trained singer. But the other difference is when you belt, it's actually a mix. It's kind of a mix between the head and the chest voice. Mm-hmm. And what we have to do is we have to do it in a healthy way. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to let Lyndsay sing a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and address what we're talking about as far as belting and as far as support and what kind of vocalises we'll do and things like that. Okay? So why don't you go ahead and start.
Okay. Maybe this time I'll be lucky. Maybe this time I'll stay. Maybe this time, for the first time, love won't hurry away. He will hold me fast. I'll be home at last. Not a loser anymore, like the last time and the time before. Everybody, they love a winner, so nobody love me. Lady peaceful, lady happy, that's how I long to be. All the odds are in my favor, something's bound to be good. It's gonna happen sometime. Maybe this time I'll win.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now, this is very interesting because we've never had a lesson before.
No.
At all. Okay? And we're still learning. This is the first time I've ever really heard you sing something. We've seen each other and I've heard you do things before. But this is the first time. So, now, this is good because we're not going to, as voice teachers, always be teaching an undergraduate voice student or a graduate voice student. Many times we have to teach non-majors, we have to teach theater majors, so we have to be aware of the different genres and we have to be able to work within that. So my first thing always is, how do you feel about the key?
I like the key.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there are a couple points where it's like right in my breaking point.
Right.
And the first couple notes are lower in my range.
I think first of all you have to pick the right piece. It's a great piece. Seems a little low. I don't know if it's the original piece, but you can always have the piece written in a way, change it, bring it up a half step or whatever. I think it's a little low.
Yeah.
It just feels like that. I would bring it up a little bit. Now,
I don't know if that's possible.
well, lots of times what I would do when I did musical theater stuff is, other than if we're doing it and the orchestra has the key and all, you have to stay in the key and stuff, is that you can change it for auditions just a little bit, to bring out the best for you. Now, tell me what you think about when you think about belting, for example, because at the beginning of this piece it's really low. You really can't do that much.
Yeah.
But that when it gets dramatic, you kind of want to get more.
Yeah.
Right? So what have you been taught? And I don't even know who your teacher is. Who's your other teacher at school here?
Music teacher?
Yeah.
I don't have one.
You don't have any?
No.
So
Just in high school.
Have you had voice lessons at all?
In high school, yeah.
In high school.
And junior high.
And what level are you at here?
Junior.
So you're a junior here. Now, you have to be a triple threat these days.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to dance, you have to be able to sing, and you have to be able to act.
Yeah.
in the theater world, or you have to say you can,
Right.
and then learn real quick how to ride a horse or something, you know. Okay, so the first thing is when you first start, they're going to want to hear boom.
Yeah.
They make their mind up on the first couple of notes, you know. So tell me, I asked you what are your thoughts about belting?
I know it's more like in the nose, like more pushed forward than normal, and it's a bigger sound.
It is a bigger sound. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
It's really a mix between your head and your chest voice. Now you have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And since this is our first lesson, I'm going to give you some basics on that, okay?
Okay.
All right, we're going to talk about three things. First, we're going to talk about breath. It's relatively easy in one respect, but it's also difficult in another. And it's something that all teachers talk about, but it's the most important thing. You have to have that breath for support. Okay. Now, when you breathe, what were you taught? What do you talk about? What do
You
you
breathe
think?
in your stomach, and it's like a balloon.
Okay, sort of right.
Diaphragm.
Let's talk about it a little bit more. Okay.
Okay.
Your diaphragm goes right across over here a little bit. I'm going to lower this so you can see. And this is good because this is almost exactly what we would do in the first lesson. The first lesson, we've got to talk about breath. First of all, you have to do what they call the position, a posture of inhalation. A fancy term for stand up straight. Because if you're bent over or you're doing something like that, you can't really breathe, so you stand up kind of straight. Then you take a breath, a nice slow breath, and you want to get it deep because we have to have a platform to sing on. Now, that's a little complicated, but basically what we want to do is we want to make sure our diaphragm, which is tied in. May I touch you right there?
Yeah, go for it.
If we go like this, it's connected to your intercostals between your ribs kind of deal. And it's a membrane that's like that, so that when you breathe, you go, and it drops, which is really kind of strange. What happens, what you're doing is, when this expands like that, it creates a vacuum and the air comes rushing in. All right? Did you realize that?
Yeah.
That's the way it works? Okay, so
Yeah.
it's actually attached to your lungs and it kind of comes like that, creates a vacuum and the air goes in. Okay? So, but how do we get that to expand? We want these ribs to go out. And we want to keep them out. We want to keep them active, okay? We want to keep that breath support there so that when we sing this piece, we'll be able to do a good job on it. Okay, so what I want you to do is, and for now, if you have time, what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and breathe through your nose if you have time, but we really don't have a lot of time sometimes. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to breathe through my mouth. Just go. That's excellent. Very good, okay?
Stomach growled.
Huh? Say again?
Stomach growled.
Yeah, that's okay. And the other thing is if you turn your back, I want to show them something else too. Women especially, is, and it's okay if I touch you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It is, you want to have this feeling of opening your back also. Okay, so when you breathe, do that breath again. And see if you can open your... Yeah, now, instead of sipping it through a straw, go ahead and take it like just right through a cave. You feel that? And you're going to hold it for a second, then release, okay? Okay, now we'll turn around. Now, okay, so we've got that breath. And the other thing is we want to keep a relaxed jaw. So the breath and relaxed jaw. And we want to make a little space, vertical like this, okay? You just want to... like that when we sing, okay? Yeah. Now, can we just try that for 1 second? And can we do that?
You want me to put it up?
No. Let's just do the second part of it when it gets a little more dramatic, you know, and you do that part. Let's try that, okay? But you're never going to sing until you take a breath.
Okay.
So we're going to take a breath, almost a full deep breath before we sing. And we just want to hold that breath and keep it active. All right? Stand up nice and straight. Here we go.
Let's go from everybody.
Oh,
Yeah. So be right there. Okay, so
everybody.
Right, yeah. And
Everybody.
now see how quick that was in the breath ability is? Everybody.
Yeah.
What you want to do is go like this. So if I just take this one section, give me a little breath. Look how much time I take. Everybody. See how much low it is? For me, I would never go that low. Everybody.
They love a winner.
They love a winner. So keep it like that. Okay, now. So you have to take a nice breath before that. You don't want to go, everybody.
Yeah.
Right? So you
Yeah.
always want to do that. Okay, because you can't sing without the air there. So go ahead and do that, all right? Breathe.
Everybody.
Good.
They love a winner. So nobody love me.
Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to get a little more power behind it, okay?
Yep.
All right, so we take that breath. We keep it nice and open, right? And for now, I don't want the words.
Okay.
Okay, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to do a line.
Okay.
So this jaw is going to be relaxed, right? And I want you to have some space in your mouth. All right? So like, all right? So let's do that. Now I want you to do it on the ah vowel.
Okay.
Okay, and I want you to go like this. ah, just like that, okay?
Yeah.
We'll get to the speaking part of it. What happens, though, when we learn musical theater stuff, we're so much into the words, so much into the acting, and what it means is that you put the cart before the horse. First, we have to learn the vowels.
Mm-hmm.
First the breathing, then the vowels and relaxation, right? And then sing line, and then we can break it up, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so. Okay, look at this. Ah, okay. Now you see how that break is? You have a little bit of a break,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I would do now, we're going to switch this switch around, and I'm going to do some vocal leases with her because we've never worked before, and she's not really aware. She knows she has a break there, but we don't know how to smooth out the break, how to go about it. So the way we do that is, it's just as if we were going to learn how to lift weights. And get, so you start out with smaller weights and you do different exercises, right? Then you get stronger and you do some other things, and you switch. It's the same thing with singing. We have to use vocalization, okay, arpeggios, things like that, and vowels. If we learn how to sing on vowels and we get the breath, then we'll be able to do the pieces too. So I'm going to switch places here with Spencer. Okay. Let's see if I can turn this around a little bit so it faces me. All right, let me see. All right, here we go. I think that's pretty good. So, what I want to do is give you a certain number of little exercises, okay?
Okay.
Spencer, bring that in a little bit towards me so they can see me a little bit better. Just pick up the whole stand and bring it on in. That's great, thank you. That's great. I think that looks pretty good. So what we're going to do now is I would like to do some vocals with you. Just on, that's a little low for you, I think. Can you use that? That's pretty good. That's it. Now, what I would like you to do, the ah's good. I would like you to go ah, eh, oh, and now see how the switch is. That's the other thing. We have to keep the vowels in the same place. Okay. So I would like ah, eh, oh. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what that does is, you see how I'm morphing from one vowel to the next.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you turn that a little bit? I want them to see how she's doing here now.
You're not
Okay.
just placing it.
Exactly. That a girl, smart girl. Okay. Let's just see how it goes. You ready? And slowly, slowly. The voice doesn't know it, but if you do it real fast, then everything goes like that. Okay. Excellent. You do a lot of things really naturally and really well.
Thank you.
And that's really important. You have to build on the things that are that you do naturally. Mm-hmm. Your formation of the vowels are good, and the only thing I would say is we have to fight our tendency to do things quick.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, and you can turn that towards me again if you would, Spencer, right? Tilt that. Now watch me. I'm going to tell you when to morph, okay?
Okay.
All right. It's going to be like this. This is live theater. Things are gonna happen. So I would go like this. And see, that's pianissimo. Mm-hmm. You go louder, all you do is you take more breath, right? Okay? Mm-hmm. And then all you have when you do belting is the same thing, okay? But you just mix a little bit of the chest and the head voice together, and you make it a little edgier. That's the only difference. Everything else has to be healthy, but the edginess that you give to the sound is that belting sound, okay?
Okay.
But for now, we'd have to build the foundation before we do great belting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, give me that again. Now give me extreme legato, but very slow morphing, changing from one vowel to the next. Ready? Atta girl. See? And so what we're doing here, since this is a short little lesson, what we're trying to do is teach how to change from one vowel to the next. And you don't have to change it back right now, but what I want you to do now is take a little bit bigger breath and give me a little bigger sound, okay? Same thing. Atta girl, let's try this up a little. Now this time, remember, whatever I tell you to do, give me 10% more on it, so when I tell you to switch over from one vowel to the next, do it seamlessly. Ready?
Okay.
Oops. Got it. You know, this is the first time we've worked together. She hasn't had a lesson since she was in high school.
Well, Denise a couple
Denise
times.
a couple times, and she's a junior. And I tell you what, I would say you have a pretty nice voice.
Thank you.
You know, I think you don't quite know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think it's really a good, solid, nice voice, and very quick, very smart. It's great. Okay, so we do vocalies. It's very simple vocalies, right? But there's other things. For example, and I'm like, ready, and. Right, two things. Don't bang that first note with Don't let the chords do it. Remember to get the air go through your chords, right? Okay. And I'd like the same morphing on those notes for each one. Ready?
That happens.
You know what? It's just, right. Relearning a new habit. It takes some time for every habit. Ready? So you have to learn all the vowels, ye, a, o, u, right? So what I'm saying is, let's see, there's a little more connection between the two. You see what I'm doing? A little bit, okay? And I'm doing it in your your range. So.
Sorry.
Now, do you feel something there? There's something else we need to talk about just a little bit. You know the difference. What happened here?
It'll still record even if it turns.
No, it's not recording anything now.
Unless it ran out of battery.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
So, what?
If it goes to sleep, it's still recording.
On that e, a, do you have a certain feeling when you sang that first note?
The ah?
Yeah. Where was that when you sang? Where do you think you sang that note, sort of?
Lower chest voice?
Chest, right? Yeah. There's a danger of going too deep into your chest. It makes it hard to get to the top notes.
Yeah.
So I usually say to the girls is don't go deep down into it. Just touch the top of it.
Okay.
Okay? All right? So let's try that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now breathe first. Don't bang that first note. There you go. Yeah, give me a little more sound without banging it in. And in a sense, you're already on the road to starting to belt. Did you see the difference in size? And then you give a little bit more into that, and then you're already in that kind of belting thing by giving a little more edge to the mix of that chest and head, okay? Now, what I'd like to do is come on back here, Spencer, and sing that thing again where you have, where's the most dramatic part that goes up a little higher?
Oh, it's,
Way happy. Yeah,
okay, let's try that a little bit, okay? Yeah, let's try a little bit of that, okay? Atta girl.
Back of it?
Yeah. I'll let you two guys work a little bit.
I have a bad habit of switching from chest voice to head voice, especially in higher notes. From it's left over from high school, but
yeah, and what happens is in high school you do so much choral work,
yeah,
and everybody has to mix and things, and it's you get into habits that are choral habits in a way,
yes,
and you have to be smart enough to say, okay, this is what I do in chorus, this is what I do, but I always stay healthy, all right, and what I'd like you to do is not do too much chest.
okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I say that is many famous female sopranos, for example, they'd say, you have such a fantastic chest voice. How did you get it? And many of the famous old singers said, well, I never used chest voice. What you can hear is, To them, they never went in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What they do is they would touch it. So I would suggest to you, don't go so deep.
Okay.
Just touch it a little bit. That way you can stay in a position to switch easily.
Okay.
It's like a car. If you go into one gear, for the first gear, and then you switch it to fourth, it doesn't work. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's try that a little bit, okay? Do you have to look over your shoulder, or you can sing like that? Why don't you sing toward this camera right here? All right, here we go.
Sing towards the camera.
Yeah. Let me see how pretty you are.
Everybody loves water.
Now give me a nice full breath
Oh, like.
and a nice full sound, okay? Just think about what I said, okay? Pick your head up, stand up straight, breathe, and...
Lady peaceful, lady happy.
That girl.
That's what I long to be.
Nice breath, nice full breath.
All the odds are in my favor. Something's bound to begin. It's
Okay, right there.
Right there.
Right there. Now,
Every
what
time.
happened there? You didn't. For what I would say is, now that's pretty good. That's pretty
Every
good.
time,
You
but
see the
no.
difference, and you did that. Now
Yeah.
you have that switch.
Yeah.
You have to think more head.
Okay.
And you can't, it's sort of like, how do we get into the head voice? Well, there are other vocalises, but for now, what I'd like to say is, to make it simple, is we have to pick the right vowel for the right word.
Okay.
Now, the word you try, you have to go, it's. I can't sing, it's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to figure out, okay, which vowel of A, E, I, O, U?
Ats.
I'm going to go, let me see, can I have that it with the note that it's on? Yeah, which is strange. It's almost schwa, but it's really close to E.
Yeah, I have a weird accent anyways. In the
Where
show.
are you from?
In the show?
Well, no, not in the show. I mean, in real life.
California.
Everybody comes from, I come from New York, obviously. And we all have, Southerners have, but when we sing, we
Yeah.
have to learn singer vowels.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell where we're from if you do proper vowels.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to find which vowel is closest to it, right? It's either E, H, E, A, E, A. I'm going to say, most vowels, if you find the right position for the E vowel, all the other vowels will go into that pretty well.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
So what I would like you to do is I'd go, just think pure E. Okay?
Okay.
Now, this is a funny way of putting it, but, when you're a baby, you learn how to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So now when we speak, we don't go it, can, or anything, we just speak. But when we extend a sentence, for example, it's going to happen, we have to stay on the vowel or we're going to get caught on the consonants and stuff.
Yeah.
So we can go, it's gonna, see, O, E, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, long story short, sing for me E on that, okay? Now, let's see if it works. Come on over here. I'll put this back on to see if it's going. Where are you? There we go. Here we go.
Right on.
Give her a couple of measures before. Now, take a nice breath and just go, forget about saying the T. Just go E, okay? Like
Yeah.
that.
Something's bound to begin.
Breathe, big sound. And
Something's bound to begin. It's gonna happen.
okay, it's getting caught up there, right?
Yeah.
And you're
It's
breathing.
better than it was before, though.
I know, you're thinking up,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
You
Okay.
gotta get the support down on that. Oh, it's just on that note, okay? Just gonna have that support going out and down. Ready? That's not gonna begin.
Something.
Mm-hmm.
Something's bound to begin. It's gonna happen sometime. Maybe this time I'll win.
Okay, and there's where we're gonna have to work
Yeah.
to work ourselves through that, okay? Now, I'm gonna do one last vocalise to give you something to go away with, okay?
Thank
We'll
you.
switch again to get through that note. What note was that note that you sang?
B. Natural.
Okay.
That's my breaking point. That note. My breaking point.
I'm gonna want you to go like this. Hum it right through. Now, do you see what you did? You went.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do it very quickly like this. Just touch the top. Ready? Okay. And. Now, can you connect those two top notes? Ready? And. Let it go into your head and back out. And. Yeah. Now, Now, the trick is when you go up, you have to think everything's down.
Down. Okay.
Don't let your larynx go up, right? Now, we have to trick the voice to that, okay? So, what I want you to do is this. I want you to go, what's your favorite vowel?
A,
We're
probably.
gonna try it. Okay, take a nice breath and hold it. Too much banging, hey, hey, hey. And we're like, I want you to slide.
Okay.
Okay, really
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Ready? And. You're gonna go down as you go up, right?
Yeah.
Right, now remember what I said. Every time I say do something, you exaggerate it. So when
Yeah.
I say smooth, no bumps, I want you to just go like that. Ready? And. Let's try one more. Yeah, now see? You're used to going very precise like you do in choral music
Yeah,
and
and in
stuff.
theater.
And you had in theater. But you have to forget that for a while and go back to doing something smooth. And see, we went through that part. We went below it, went to the note itself, and went above it.
Okay, look at
And
that.
you vocalize it, and you trick your voice, and it gets muscle memory for it. See what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't go bang, 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 bang. The voice doesn't work like that. We have air going through the chords, and we have to have it smooth.
It works harder if it has to.
It works harder if we're banging. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good girl. So what we would do is I would start just like that with vocalises. Okay, I want to make sure we're on. Yeah, live. This is live. I would make sure that we are on. I'm going to go over here so I have a little bit better stuff, and you can come right over here with me too. What I would do is this is what we would work for the whole semester. We would build a solid foundation of breath, no tension in the jaw. We talk about head voice, mixing voice. We trick the voice by doing arpeggios and vocalises, things like that. We have to get the vowels in the right position so they don't change from thing to thing, and we don't have a choppiness in our singing. Okay, and then you get used to going into the high voice and using, getting into the head voice and things. Okay, and then when that's all set and you have a good solid foundation, then we can go ahead and not sing from here for banging, but we sing from our support and some space. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.